to attend to. So before we wrap up, I want to move on to my favorite part of the segment, is to get to know you. So tell us about yourself, but I'm always interested in your life experiences. Where did you grow up?
So actually, I grew up in Miami, Florida. I'm a Florida boy. I grew up somewhere where it was summer every day of the year. And that's part of the reason that I love living in Seattle now, because you actually have different seasons. So I like the rain, I like the snow. The summers are beautiful here, but I appreciate that it's not summer every single day.
Well, I thought it always rained in Seattle. So you went from all summer all the time to rain all the time, no?
That's not true. That's propaganda that they tell people so that you don't move to Seattle. They have 2 rainy seasons in Seattle. So typically you'll have rain in October and November, and it will rain a lot. And then you'll have rain in February and March, and it'll rain a lot. And then the rest of the year, you'll have rain on and off. It'll be, for example, in the winter, it doesn't really snow, it doesn't rain. So it's actually a beautiful day every winter, sunny, but not too cold for how far north we are. And then the summer, typically it doesn't rain. In fact, during the summer, we have drought for 3 months, which is surprising to people when they move here. I was surprised when I moved here. When I moved here and I bought my house, it had sprinklers. And I said, why do I need sprinklers? Doesn't it rain here all the time? And they said, no, that's not true.
So tell us, when was the first time you realized this technology, moving parts, data, but more important, entrepreneurial tendencies?
I've always been interested in it my entire life. I was always the kid when I was younger that was a little bit of a hustler, trying to figure out how to make some money out of this. But it's only recently that my co-founder and I decided to launch our very own startup. And it was really 2 reasons. One of them is this problem that we're talking about now, right? Being able to really optimize your contribution, your margin down to SKU level, is something that Amit and I were dealing with when we were CTO and Chief Supply Chain Officer. And I was pretty naive, and I thought there must be a solution out there that exists. And I really found out that there wasn't. There are lots of solutions, but they don't actually solve the real problem. When I was CTO, I looked at a lot of them. And so we decided, look, we have the skills, we know this space really well, we have a great network. Let's give a shot at launching our own tech startup in the space. And it's been a very interesting journey so far. Talked to a lot of interesting people like yourselves, and just have absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm curious about? Why was it that you've always been into hustling people to make some money?
Well, not hustling people to make money, to be clear. But I was always interested in the entrepreneurial stuff. And I have a little bit of a broad definition when I say being entrepreneurial. I mean, there's the obvious one of you want to make money. But I always thought about it as, I want to have an impact on the world. I kind of want to fix things. I want to make them better, which is what an entrepreneurial does, right? But you keep track of it in terms of money. I had a little bit broader definition. So my career has been pretty varied. The one string that's been throughout my entire career is problem solving, which is what entrepreneurs do, right? You see a problem, you want to solve it. You want to solve it because you want to make money, but you also want to solve the problem, because if you don't solve it, no money will come. And so I was always a problem solver. When I see a problem that catches my interest and then I say, I can fix that, I go after it. And in launching Symphony, it was this beautiful marriage between, we see a problem that can be solved, we can solve it, and also it would be a great business. And so in that sense, right, it had all the ingredients to make it very attractive to me.
Well, the definition of entrepreneur, actually, you're right. The first thing that comes to mind is if you really want to add even rhetoric to it, greedy, make money, blah, blah. That's the general perception of entrepreneur. Couldn't be further from the truth, because I've had, as we record this show, I think I'm coming up to like 165, 170 episodes. That's 160 plus guests, all of whom are entrepreneurs. And I ask the same question of what motivates them. Not a single one says money. Money is just a metric to measure success. And if not all, most of them are into having a vision, making an impact, solving a problem that they feel that they can contribute. It's all of those things is what makes up an entrepreneur's mindset, so to speak. So you've just confirmed it, and that's what you are. What I want to know is, you could have, as a kid, you could have easily become interested in reading, writing, something else, and become a lawyer or, but what was it that in your DNA or in your environment, nurturing you, that got you to be what you are today?
Well, I think part of it is just actually a big part of it was my grandfather, to be clear. So my grandfather was a guy who was a problem solver his entire life. He was very entrepreneurial, didn't have a lot of education, but he worked as a mechanic. He had his own side business fixing like contractor type work for people. And so he was always figuring out how to fix a problem. And that always stuck with me. I'd say the other part is my personality. If there's one skill set that I have, is I can look at a problem and my mind instantly breaks it down into components. And I can see this in my head, I visualize it. And I can see the relationships between them. So it's like cause and effect thing, like, okay, like this is why this is happening. So my entire professional career, people have wanted me to go into an organization or a business as a guy who's going to fix problems. So I came to Amazon, by the way, because of that. I was hired in because someone had this problem. He had been trying to fix it for a year and a half, didn't get it fixed. And he brought me in, and my entire career at Amazon was moving from one vertical into another because I was asked, I got this problem, can you help solve it? And part of my entrepreneurial mindset, going back to your definition of entrepreneurial, I love solving problems. And I also, to be entrepreneurial, you can't be afraid of failure, is what I really say is the key thing. And so throughout my career, I was always very willing to take risks in the sense of, this decision is not going to make everybody happy, but it's the right decision to solve the problem that I've been asked to solve. Let me go after it. Let me do it. And I think that was actually just part of my core personality, is the willingness to take those risks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. I actually, very good of you to point that out. Add to my definition of, dreamer, vision, make an impact, contribute, blah, blah. Huge risk takers. We just jump right in, right? So, I mean, we don't take, we only take, so to speak, calculated risks. So we, especially, being the kind of people you and I are, analytical, dissect, analyze, and blah, blah. So we will study, and then we will take risks, but we are not afraid to take risks. And so that's the definition of it.
No, absolutely. And also, if you think about what we just talked about, right? I think a lot of what was going through our discussion is, you want to take smart risks, right? You want to be very methodical in your process. That's the discipline part. And so absolutely, like, you want to be a risk taker, but you want to be a smart risk taker, not a dumb one. And that is key to be a successful entrepreneur. And that's where the mechanisms come in, by the way, to tie it all together, right? The mechanisms are a way of avoiding you making dumb decisions by not depending on purely intention, which can go wrong very easily.